Here is a 3rd of July garden update. The raspberries are starting to come into season now. I've already harvested a few of them. They're really good. But I think if you wait until the heat of the day, like right now, you're going to get a sweeter flavor because there's more sugars in it, rather than just picking them after it rained quite a bit, because we've had a lot of rain in the past week and a half. So here are my coleuses, looking pretty stellar and healthy. And then I got the cilantro that I planted from seed. It's awesome, doing pretty good. Here's a cool tomato plant that's a Sweet 100. All these carbon. Here's the mass, the mass of it now. When you plant them in the beginning, everything's pretty small and it fills in quickly because these tomatoes are space hogs. But by growing them up, you know, there's more room for them to grow, as they are indeterminate, so they'll grow and grow and grow, as seen by this black cherry tomato. Yeah, wow. Who knows how tall this thing is gonna get, but it's really starting to lay out the flowers now. So these blossoms will turn into fruit, and I might go to the top here if I suspend a string down and allow it to keep climbing. The handy thing is this is supporting it. So it's my biggest pot and it's my biggest plant right now. So the more room you have for roots, the bigger the plant's going to be, right? Then I have these little guys. These were all my carbons from seed. I see a few blossoms starting here, so that's pretty awesome. And then I had a regular red cherry tomato here. It's not a very big plant. I think because it was stressed out, it put out blossoms right away, and I allowed it to keep the blossoms on. So instead of putting energy into growing the plant, it just started putting out fruit production. So it's not as big of a plant as my other black cherry tomato. However, I'm interested to see what these little guys are going to taste like. And then we got the bush beans here. These will all be yellow beans, and I've got a lot of blossoms here, so that means there's going to be a lot of beans in a few weeks, or maybe like a week and a half. It won't take long. Once those start blooming, they start coming in pretty fast and furious. So I love beans. I might make dilly beans this year. And then we got this little patch of lettuce that I've just been eating off of. These lettuce seeds I planted earliest, and they didn't do much, but now I see like one chunk survived, so I've been plucking off leaves every now and then, and I'm able to eat those, which is pretty awesome. And also back in here, I did plant sweet pea. It's still alive, but it's not really climbing that trellis, but it's hard to see through all the tomatoes. And then we've got the parsley there. So I'm pretty loving this jungle garden I have in the front, and this beautiful coleus. Here's another tomato plant that I could hang somewhere because it's in a hanging basket. And oh yeah, my raspberries are so generous this year. And then moving to the back, if you want to see back here, she was out earlier and we had a good time. In this pot here, got that sweet pea again. It's always an experiment to try and get things to climb on this trellis because there's a lot of gaps really. So it's difficult for things to grab hold. But it's starting to, and then I also have cilantro in here, but it takes a little time. This one is having a bit of an easier time grabbing hold because of the pot that it's in, the hanging basket. And then this little guy that I got from work, I forget the name of it, but it's going to bloom again, which is pretty cool. I see all of these blooms coming because it had a really nice flush early in the season. I repotted the 2 plants. It's an orange and a yellow, and they're going to put on another show. Here we go. There's another little sweet pea here, and it's rained so much over the past little while that I really haven't had to water much at all, even in the small pots. We've had a ton of rain, so that's great. This spiderwort is one of the best investments if you want a perennial that just gives you color and grows. It's a shade plant, and it doesn't take up much of your resources as far as taking care of it. It's really easy. And this is one of my favorite gardens here. This little guy. This looks really great with the wishing well and the mirrors and the picture that I have hung up on the fence. This is one of my favorite gardens. Got those cool nasturtiums, a few hostas that I transplanted. I even threw in a couple bean seeds that I had left over into the empty spaces, and they're doing okay. And then I've got the sweet peas ready to climb, and one of the morning glories from last year reseeded itself, so that as well is going. And I put the 3 lilies, the Asiatic lilies, they transplanted okay, they're still alive. And this cool little garden bed here with the iris behind it, and then a ton of nasturtiums. Some that I sowed early, and then some that I direct sowed into the garden. And then I put a few bean plants also in the empty space here where that cat had been. And it's just like a pretty cool little awesome garden in the shade. I really like it, how it looks. And the nasturtiums use the irises to travel and create a network to move over here. Then we got these awesome, this one in behind, I thought it was a phlox, but it's actually a type of goldenrod. I remember now. I think it's called zigzag goldenrod. So that'll have a yellow flower. But these hostas have really, I've got 3 blooms on this one. We've got the spikes here, a couple of them, and 3 over there. So they're gonna put out purple flowers pretty soon, which is nice because my other hostas have white flowers. But yeah, you can see this is what we're looking at here. These heads will start opening up with flowers soon. So yeah, right now it's an orange garden with the daylilies in bloom and my nasturtiums in bloom. Over behind those daylilies, I planted more tomatoes. See how they do. And I dug out a bunch of goutweed, so hopefully that will stop. It really opens up this back space when you weed this area. So there's a big kind of empty space here right now. I have a few lilies, but I really got to stay on top of this goutweed if I wanted to manage it. These cool ferns back here that I transplanted a while ago, they're doing quite well. And then the cup flowers coming, as well as like that hollyhock shrub, and it's part forsythia as well. They have grown together. I think I might just leave it. It's really growing quite a bit, and I like what it looks like. It's kind of wild. And yeah, my maple, sugar maple here, she's grown quite a lot. as well. So just pretty happy with everything, how it's coming together. And this is my July 3rd garden. Signing off.